Welcome back to Greatest Media Team's production of the 4th annual Jeffrey Cranson Open from scenic Meadowbrook Orchards. We have a bit of a different landscape here for the back nine, but just shout out to GMT, shout out to Disc Golf 978 and First Available Printing and the whole team at Meadowbrook Orchards, Dave and Sons and whole family and everyone making this place go. We're excited to show you guys with 4 of the best players in New England and playing for that trophy right there in your name in the shop. We got myself with a healthy 5-stroke lead trying to hold off Elijah Brandt, as well Colin Moriarty, Owen Hamilton, some folks on the Chace card. We start off with hole 10. What do you got for us, Rivas?
That was a lot of action in the front nine, especially Elijah. He is right on your tail. After your first round, 1072 round, let's see if you can heat up on the back nine of the second round here. And we got a downhill hole, 275 feet. Plays more like 315 feet. It feels a lot longer than that. And it's a very cool shot, but it requires a lot of control.
Yeah, to your point about the length, as long as it plays, this hole is also severely downhill. And it's very easy to go OB long. And once again, Elijah Brandt, the flex shot master, going with a berg there on a forehand. It's so great because normally a flex shot, you see that big left to right swinging S. He's able to throw these flex shots and make them pretty much just fly straight. So another gem of a shot there. Looking to take one on me on this hole.
I presume you were taking your tactic there. You just couldn't get the flip there.
Yep, you go with the tactic here just because I really struggle with that nose down and soft. And it's very easy to go long in this hole. A lot of times, either just get that nose angle up or kind of punch it too hard, you know. So Eli going with the forehand there, proven to be the best play.
Absolutely. This whole average 8.0 right on the money. I'm surprised it didn't average a little better, but there is that OB behind the basket. Here you are with a tricky approach shot, making sure that it doesn't slide and doesn't roll all the way down there.
Yeah, that's what that soft tactic is best for. You know, able to hit the ground there with angle. And luckily it just kind of bounces. Kyle's doing the same thing with his soft approach disc. And you can see why all of us kind of have that same disc in our bag. These wooded, sloped hills. Kind of just hit it where it sits and pick up an easy scramble shot there.
Elijah's in a really good spot. Circle one. You should be able to clean up another birdie, -7 through 10 potentially. That is a streak. I mean, what were you at? Do you remember when you were hitting your first round?
Yeah, so my first round, I started on hole 1, and through 10 holes, I would have been 8 under. So that's what it takes out here at Meadowbrook. You'll see, especially in a lot of the good rounds, there's a very common theme, which is players do really well on the front nine. The back nine, the scoring is kind of there. There's a lot of less than maybe say 1.5 shot par fours, where with a good drive, you're kind of just collecting the birdie at that point. But the front nine is a bunch of those par threes that they're tricky, man, and you got to execute a great shot off the tee and most likely a great putt to get. So that hot front nine really sets up for a lot of good rounds, and also just makes it easy coming down the stretch, knowing you just need to collect those birdies to finish your hot round.
You guys have the arm for that back nine, so this is going to be really fun to watch. And it starts right here. I feel like this is the shot that allows you to start powering up on a lot of back nine shots. And this one, you really kind of throw max power, which is a great warm up to what you're going to have. The only difference is that it's extremely uphill. Eli pulling a really good rip on this one.
Yeah, great shot there from Eli. That is not the basket we're going to, as you saw on the drone flyover, but a pretty good place to land. one of those holes, especially for our top distance pros. You know, as long as you can get past that big tree, it should be a pretty easy birdie.
What are you ripping on here? What is that green disc?
Yeah, it's a nice Gannonburg cloud breaker right there. Put this disc in the bag for this hole specifically, actually.
Okay.
I normally struggle to get the flip going so uphill. So I put a bit of a flatter disc in the bag, and a bit faster of a disc in the bag so I could carry this hill
Good.
on hyzer.
No. That's Simon territory, Harry. That is unreal. That plays like 520 to get up to that spot. That's wild. That was a rip. And I'm glad that you put that disc in the bag because we're most likely going to see that again on this back nine, knowing you.
Mostly use really domey drivers, and don't get me wrong, I think for most of your shots the dominess is really going to help carry that glide, but when you're going so far uphill you need a lot more speed and push rather than just glide. Going downhill is where that glide is really helpful to get those big rides. Going uphill a little bit faster and a little bit more zip on it kind of helps you carry that hill a little bit better. So it's a little tip out there for you young bombers.
Great pro tip by you there. Thank you for that pro tip. Wads with a sneaky up and down here on hole 11, being able to execute very well from that side of that hill. That is not easy to do. This hole average 3.57, so a fairly simple and easy hole since it is a par 4 for you guys.
Have you heard of overthrow disc golf?
Oh yeah. This hole for a lot of players is very daunting. Probably one of the hardest holes on the course, but distance really takes you a long way.
Yeah, shout out to Dan Snyder and Owen Cook, who was the A-cam out there. They did a great job out here. We got a lot of cool angles and a lot of close-ups, which GMT always produces some really cool content. So thanks again, guys, for doing that and being out there today on a very cold and windy day. All right, Harry, come on, get an easy eagle here. Probably the easiest eagle bid that you've had all year.
On this hole, certainly. I think I've eagled this hole in practice, maybe. But yeah, for a tournament, stoked to get there, and just got a short putt just for a little cleanup birdie.
You would have been the only eagle there. We had 17 birdies, so huge percentage there. 61% birdies on this hole. Good putt there, just getting it over the rim. Calm down a little bit. It's not as windy as it was in the first few holes. Is that a correct assessment there?
So most of the wind here at Meadowbrook is kind of in that lower bowl. You can kind of see it right here. We're almost protected from the direction of the wind on this side slope.
Okay.
But you'll see as soon as we get up to the top of the hill and on the other side of it, definitely be windy again.
Here we go. Another raised basket. This is hole 12. This is 333 feet. A lot of people are just going to play the hyzer around or straight up at it. This averaged 2.96, and a lot of people are going to be throwing their mid-ranges, I would presume, on this one, because you can kind of throw max power, but still also need a little bit of control, making sure that you don't flip it up and go down, hit that hill in OB.
Now Eli here going with a pretty slow and stable disc so he can really rip into it with the wind.
That was a great shot.
Good decision. Yeah, he's in the circle again.
And this is your MD4, it looks like.
Yep, MD5. And
Okay.
I'm just trying to commit a little bit more to the tree line. I could definitely see that slipped out a little bit early. Gonna pay the price and have that 34-foot death putt.
Still kind of got up there, though, like for messing up a shot and not putting all your might into it, you still got up there. And Owen getting up there as well, circle 2-ish land. Kyle, he's going to be taking his Omen. You know, from this angle, they're going to be 35 feet left or something like that. Oh, just a layup. That's the first layup we've seen by Owen Hamilton. I am shocked.
Well, he's got a pretty stiff headwind there, and yeah, you know his putt. It's going far, but back to Eli and those flexes. Three of us going hyzer, hard to control that. Stable flex, keeping it straight for Eli on this hole.
It really works for him. I love it. Are you going for this? Come on, Harry. Let's go. That was a big putt. You can't be stopped. Your circle 2, like you said in the first round, is feeling really, really good. Some of the best putting that you've seen all season, and why not? Run it.
Yeah, I can remember at this point, Eli being pretty much under the basket here. I mean, he's only missed 3 holes at this point, and we're through 12 holes. I knew I still had a lead, but
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't playing to the level of Eli. Almost felt like I was playing slow. Now you look at my scorecard. You know, I obviously was on in my own right, not Eli's pace, but you know, I don't think that I'm really as gassed up to make that putt if I wasn't playing with Eli in his hot stuff so far. So sometimes playing with that, you can really feel the vibes off the card.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was sort of hinting at you, Brown, if you feel like you were playing slow or not. I didn't say the words, but you know, I definitely was wondering what your thoughts were during that first 9. Owen Hamilton's going to be suffering a bogey, unfortunately. Just that layup got the best of him. It looked like it traveled way further than he was expecting. Hole 13 is going to be a slightly uphill shot with Obi on the right-hand side, but a very signature basket, hanging basket on this hole.
Yep, so we have the opposite wind here versus the last hole, so it will actually help our hyzer throwers.
Oh, no way he just did that.
Eli going back to the flex.
Is that a flex, though? Was he trying to flex? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, he's trying to flex. I mean, that's his natural angle, and you can see what happened. He kind of over-torqued it, and hard to tell with the blue sky and the blue disc, but it just rode that wind on that Anheuser angle and never came back.
Huh, very interesting observation. And you're going with like a mini hyzer, not too much, and it looks like that was your Sky God 4.
Yeah, you can see that dirt really blow right when that hits the ground. And another tip for you guys, I mean, you can see Wad's throwing pretty much the same shot as the last hole.
Yeah,
but since that stable hyzer is fighting the wind, it's not really going to move too far right. Much more consistent shot for a righty.
Yeah, that was one of the best shots I've seen on that hole in getting it close. It's very hard to park this hole. It's actually impossible. And Owen's going to be carrying a little too much left. This is a 272-foot hole. I'm surprised that we're seeing somebody going OB, and then we're seeing some long putts on this. This is it's got to be the wind and the uphill.
You can just see how wide he had to put that.
That was his 3rd shot. Wow. So he may be looking at a bogey or double bogey, which is not what you had thought of after going, 8 down through 12?
Yeah, he was certainly on a heater to start that round, and especially a hole like this that gives you the hiccups. I mean, yeah, he was 9 down through 12 at this point.
Wow.
See if he can just save it to become a bogey.
Gotta save it. I feel like he rushed that one. Owen Hamilton, get that birdie. Stay in bounds. Jeez, there's a lot of elements to this hole. A lot of very difficult elements.
Yeah, it's definitely me.
So now Owen has an interesting putt here because it looks like he's trying to take a meter of relief, but it's tough because the closer he gets, the more awkward. That putt is blocked right by that basket. So you see he went with like a weird little Annie putt, but it's also into a headwind. I mean, that's just difficult and a tough break there.
The lead card is showing a lot of difficulty on this hole. Meanwhile, the rest of the field averaged 2.86 on this. Sometimes it just happens. Nice birdie by Kyle, showing how it's done.
That kind of day out there at Meadowbrook, with the winds and all. I mean, we saw, 5 down make our lead card. I mean, that doesn't normally happen here at Meadowbrook. I mean, we saw 1 down still be 12th place out of a field of 28. So, there's danger to be had on every hole. No matter how easy or hard the hole is, everyone's still got to putt around a windy basket. So you can kind of find your trouble anywhere.
Such a beautiful hanging basket there. Signature touch on the back 9. We'll have one more signature touch, including this hole, 500 feet downhill, par 3, OB on the left, OB deep, OB right. As players, most people aren't going to be worrying about the OB deep. Most likely they're going to fade out, and that's where you're going to find a lot of trouble on this one.
We got the Meadowbrook beverage and snack cart out here at the top of the hill. Pretty cool touch.
I love it. That's new too, right?
Yeah, newish. Definitely this year.
That is so cool. On the back 9, let's get a snack. Here we go. Snack time for you. Look at this beautiful shot. Is this a mid? No way.
That was my Grady Shoe PD. Tried to take a line out of Eli's book, going with the flex shot there to mitigate this crosswind.
That looked like a beautiful shot, Harry. Grady Shoe PD coming in clutch. Oh, wow. You sailing it, dude.
Yeah, it definitely felt like the right shot. Rode that flex line a bit further than I intended, and going to be putting for par.
This is the OB I was worried about. Oh, no. Oh, that's close.
Yeah, we'll have to check and see the actual OB line there, but yeah. So this hole right here has a right to left crosswind. You can see as it gets to this point on Heiser, it's just got no chance.
That's the fading I was worried about on this hole, especially with that wind, like you said. Eli is definitely going to go like a low flippy shot, I'm assuming. Yep, there's that flex. Oh, that's almost too much flip. But he kept it low.
Yep, that flex line keeping him in bounds. If you're going to make the mistake, you want your mistake to still be in bounds. The rest 3 of us seem to be OB, so Eli can still take a stroke here, even with 3.
One of the toughest holes that you guys are going to face, actually, this is the second hardest hole of the day, hole 1 being the toughest. What would make it better? Do you think it needs to be this tough, or the par 3 is a... Oh, my, never mind. Let's stop talking because that was just great, Owen. That was amazing. Let's go.
Wow, putting that P1 to work again. Man, what a clean stroke there. Nice par save for Owen.
Oh, yeah, that was for par. See, that's what I was trying to get at. Like, should this just be a par 4?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously the crosswind makes this hole really tough. But you see, I mean, all of our pro players here, we are playing a pro tournament, a pro layout. We all have the ability to park this hole, especially in calm conditions. So, it's a hole that is one of the tougher holes. 2 birdies in round 1. Round 2, we had another 2 birdies, Finn Etter and Malcolm Cooper. It definitely plays as a hard hole. But the thing that I like about this hole is if you wanted to take a par, you could very easily play for par, and a lot of players do. I mean, a lot of players play the conservative hyzer and take a 140-foot upshot from there. So, there's ways to take a stroke. It would be much too easy to try to, make this a par 4, say.
Okay.
So you can see what Kyle is doing, and because there are plans for a new hole, there are actually new stakes that are in the ground. So we didn't know if we were playing the new stakes that were in the ground for the hole, which would make him actually in bounds, or just the traditional OB on this hole. So we did actually play the traditional OB on this hole. The tap in that he just had was his actual putt. This putt does not mean anything.
Okay. It's good that you took a provisional there. That's very confusing. And so is the new hole going to finish to the left more? I'm a
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So the new hole, Kyle's drive would have been center cut in the new fairway.
Oh, it's that far. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Cool. Well, I look forward to another change at Meadowbrook Orchards here. It's a beautiful course. If you haven't played this course, you must come play it. Harry, what are your thoughts on hole 15 here?
This is a great hole. I like the new added OB. It's a little bit tighter than in years past. This hole is interesting. The rocks kind of tell you where the basket is, but it is blind. On a warmer day with some better wind conditions, we've also seen some eagles on the GMT channel on this hole. Doubt we'll see any close today.
Not with the wind out there. We've talked about it. I think that's OB. I can't really tell.
Yeah, we'll see when we get up there, but left or right, especially in this wind, this fairway is not wide.
Oh no. Owen knew it right out of his hands. See ya.
Yeah, the key here is you need a very stable disc if you want to put some flex on this. We know Eli will put flex on this disc.
Yeah, Eli will put flex on anything. Give him a freaking tire and he'll flex it.
And he is luckily choosing a stable enough disc to fight out of that despite the wind. Perfect drive.
And that's the 400-foot mark right there, that rock, I believe. What are you going to be throwing here? You want to match Eli, right? But not anything too crazy, I'm sure. Are you going for it?
I mean, it's just unreachable on a hyzer flip like that. You would need to throw a crazy golf line to try to reach this pin. I'm content to just take my birdie in this wind, so I just play that stable disc, flip it up to straight, and just let it stay safe the whole way.
Unfortunately, Owen's approach is going to be very short, but since this is a par 4, he should be able to save his par, maybe even get a birdie still. Kyle's right there for his birdie opportunity. He did get up there, so I mean, I think you could get up there, Harry.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. Just my philosophy as a golfer for a long time, playing disc golf, is I much prefer to throw one angle shots. They're much more consistent than a two angle shot. They're much easier to predict. Getting the disc on a crosswind such as this to be going right and then back left, it really takes more of a knowledge in those overstable discs and in those flight paths. So sure, I do have the disc in my bag to say execute the shot that Eli just did. But I'm just not as comfortable with it, and my margin for error increases by a lot putting those two angles on it. So I opt for the one angle shot most of the time, and I do think that is kind of a sneaky way to make professional disc golf harder that people aren't really talking about. Force people to throw two angle shots on a hole if they want to get a birdie. I mean, that's really the defining feature of a disc golf disc. It can do an S curve, which no ball or not even a regular catch frisbee can accomplish. So I would like to see a future in disc golf where 2-angle shots are almost kind of required in order to birdie, and then kind of safe, conservative 1-angle shots are the type of shots that get you pars. And then at that point, the scoring can maybe move more towards like golf.
Well, that's a very good input there, and I totally agree, and I like the fact that you brought up one shot is a lot easier to consistently execute. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, if you're going to be practicing that one shot a lot, it's going to be more simple. So hole 16, this is not a simple shot. This is a very difficult hole, and actually one of the more tougher ones that you're going to face today. I think it's the second toughest of the day, 3.71. And there's just a bunch of OB to the left, to the right, long. So this is what you're going to see most players do, which is just lay up right in the middle, one way or another, just lay up.
Kyle is pretty famous. He's a very aggressive player, and I've seen him lay up this hole pretty much every time he's played it. So that just shows you how hard it is as we have this aggressive crosswind once again. And Eli able to, again, I mean, he goes to the flex, and I've said it time after time, but in this crosswind, dominated, and I think that's why he's played so well today. It's just, when everyone else is throwing these hyzer flip-ups, as most people do in New England, they're just getting crushed by the wind. And Eli able to, show his skill set and, match that wind angle and have a soft landing.
I feel like you were trying a mini flex there, Harry, right there.
My shot was more of it was like an aggressive layup, I'll call it. I wanted to keep it low and keep it pushing over inbounds the whole way. My normal play on this hole, being the spike hyzer, can be dangerous because if you go OB early, you're almost re-teeing. So no need for that at this current position with the scores. So just going to try to zip one up the middle, keep it inbounds the whole way.
So were you inbounds here or not? You're inbounds, right?
Yep, inbounds.
Okay, all right. That's what I wasn't sure here because from the video, from that angle, it almost looked like you hit that tree line pretty hard. So a birdie at 10 for Eli, another one for him. No! Oh, you hate to see that.
Yeah, tough to not cash that one in off. Brilliant drive, but par still strokes on this hole, 3.71 average.
Yeah, insane. And he still has second place pretty locked in right now. There's no one really on his tail like you're also pretty locked in for the win.
Yep, just have two big bomber par fours to finish out. First time I checked scores was after 16.
Why not, right? All right, hole 17. Tell me more about it, Harry.
Yeah, so we have a OB patch to cross over here with all of the orchard trees and thrown into this nice fairway. It's a rectangle shape. The rocks line in the middle. We have OB left and right, even deep if you can get there. And this one is really a sweet hole to just have a distance contest mash off of. And if you know the way the wind has been blowing, as I've said over and over again, we are finally at the point where we don't have a crosswind and we have just a nice consistent tailwind. So expect some pretty big drives.
Tailwind on this hole is unheard of. It's usually headwind on this. I could tell it was a tailwind because Wads' destroyer got really cut down there. And here we go. Another cloud breaker shot by Eli. Wow, he's got some height and some distance. Jeez, that's such a good shot. That's almost at the 500 mark.
We get a nice little replay here. Yeah, a lot of height is required in this tailwind. It's just going to knock it down, so big drive there.
Yeah, that's the 500. mark with the rock there. So he was probably 35 feet off that. I'd say he's probably, 85 feet. And here you are giving it a huge go, getting that height. Oh my God, why is it carrying so left, Harry? Oh my, no, what? Get in, get back. Wow, what? That's a lot of action. Are you pin high? That's insane.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but I might actually be slightly past pin high.
Oh my goodness.
I took a peek at the scores, and I knew I could hopefully give the people a show here.
Oh,
but
my goodness, Harry, that is a crush. Okay, that's going on Instagram probably tonight.
I mean, I'm still 100 feet from the basket, so it wasn't the greatest shot in the world, but a lot of distance. Got the distance line pretty good.
I don't even think I've ever seen anybody pin high. I mean, even Simon was like 45 feet short last year's coverage. Go check it out on our channel. Owen wanted to stop the bleeding there. And yeah, just up and down, get your par.
Beautiful shot there. Playing the wind perfectly.
So yeah, about 85 feet. That's really where I was thinking of. And wow, wind's doing some weird stuff out there. Guess that's what happens when you go for it. I see you, Harry. You're all the way out there. Let's have some fun, is right. Such a great hole. You don't see these types of holes at a lot of courses. Just shout out to Dave Chandler and the 978 for just creating something so fun for everybody to bomb disc, to have controlled shots. No. Simon did he put it in his top 10 list or no? I don't think he did actually.
I know he thinks highly of this course. He's out here a lot, filming videos, playing tournaments. It's not easy to get him to play an off-season tournament, and he's played this one a few times.
That's what it is. I always see him in the vlogs at this course. Great birdie there, Harry, for averaging 3.57. You showed us how to do it. Eli getting a tough break there. Very uncharacteristic down the stretch here, missing two of those critical putts. I'm not saying fatigue is happening, but could be. I mean, you guys had a long day here in the cold, windy day.
Yeah, luckily for Eli, it looks like it's only going to harm his chances for the hot round here. He's got second place pretty locked up. So
yeah.
With 978 and Meadowbrook putting together a great event again, we got some pretty good payouts. So second place is going to do you well, especially for one day.
Well, tell us more about the finishing hole, the epic signature hole with the tractor on it. Where else are you going to see tractor in your fairway?
Yeah, this is an interesting hole. It's an odd finishing hole, I will say. There is some eagle potential, for the big arms, but other than that, it really comes down to this elevated putting basket that's going to provide the difficulty. I think pretty much every player in this pro division, with a good drive has a putter or even a jump putt in.
It averaged the easiest of the day for you guys, averaging 3.39, and a lot of people are just going to do what Wads did there and just kind of lay up. That was his destroyer. This is that green disc that you've been throwing a lot in the back nine here?
Yep, same one as 17, and
nice.
There's no OB over there, so I just figured I'd throw it.
I mean, you can reach this pretty easy. I'm surprised you're not giving the fans quite the gallery over there a run for it, Harry.
Well, I actually did get the eagle on round one, which was pretty cool, but in order to do that, it does bring in the OB quite a lot. You could see even in the circle, there's OB in the circle down there. So I've had a lot of good shots I can remember back to the Welcome to the Jungle that I actually skipped at the basket and went OB. Ended up taking a par. So I was pretty content just to play it out to the left and finish with a birdie.
Yeah, and it helps your ratings. It helps your victory lap here.
You're crazy.
It's a nice size gallery. They put on a great event, like you were saying. And shout out to Justin Chu for winning MP40 and Rose for taking down FPO. We got quite the championship set up there.
Yeah, something we've been doing at these local New England events, which I hadn't even heard of until this year at Sunstein, which I think is something really cool that a lot of other clubs could take into their B tier events. Normally, for a one-day B tier, we're all shotgun start. A lot of times it's the winners who are shooting very well that are finishing first. And any trophy ceremony or anything that has to do with the pop and circumstance, as we'll forget about that for a second, kind of happens in the dark and alone. So we've been doing some staggered starts for our lead and chase cards. So this lead card actually teed off about 20 minutes after all the other cards. That way everyone was there on 18 to basically be a part of the final ceremony.
Yeah, I really like it. There it is, Harry, the tap in. That must feel so good. 2 big wins back to back that weekend specifically, and then this is really the send off to go to your Q Series Pro Tour finale, right?
Yeah, one of the last local tournaments here for the season, especially in Massachusetts. Next weekend's November. It does get pretty cold, so it was awesome to win this one. Never won this tournament before, so happy to add my name to the list.
Yeah,
pretty prestigious crew.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have Simon Lizotte, you have Kyle Moriarty, a really classic tournament and one of our favorites in New England to end the year. And that must have felt so good to have that big win and a lot of, extra cash going into your final moments of the season, which you did very well. So again, shout out to you, Harry. Shout out to Justin Chu. Shout out to Rose. And shout out to our cameraman, Owen Cook, Dan Snyder. You guys killed this feature. Awesome production. And just happy to be here. Happy to see New England disc golf grow and get better. And seeing you on the top of the leaderboard, especially with Elijah right on your tail.
Yeah, it was an awesome event. Always is here at Meadowbrook. Happy to get the win. Happy to average 1060, which I think is probably my best
average
for a 2-round tournament. That's right. So it was definitely some good momentum going into the back half of the year, and able to do my part at the Q Series, and excited for tour in a couple weeks.
Did this get you amped for the Q Series at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm lucky that our local competition here is better than the average local competition by a bunch. So to beat a pretty good field here today by 8 strokes gives me a lot of confidence, and just definitely ready for Q Series.
Awesome. Well, we love it, man. We absolutely love what you're doing. And I actually took a look at your schedule, and I cannot believe your name is side by side by some of the top players in the world, and you're already lined up for that tournament season for the Pro Tour. It is just so cool to see your name up on that ranks up there. And thanks again for being here, Harry. Any closing thoughts?
I just want to thank everyone for tuning into our coverage. Shout out to the other division winners as well, Rose and Justin. Our great community right there is our MP40 card. We got good players all over, so shout out to those guys. Shout out to everyone that came out and competed in the wind and the cold today, and excited for more coverage on the 2025 season coming to you guys very shortly.
Very shortly. We're going to have a lot more coverage very soon, and more of you, Harry. We got a lot of plans with you.
Leave a like on the video, subscribe to Greatest Media Team so you don't miss out on any Harry Chace exclusive coverage from the tour season, as well as those local tournaments we all know and love. see you all for now. Tune in next time. Peace out.
Take care, everyone.